Hey there, I'm John.
And I'm Josh.
And we are talking about what we always talk about, college football. And we're going to be looking at the results of Week 9. And so in Week 9, you had a couple upset alerts last week.
Yeah, we can start with the upsets. I know I wasn't disappointed in either. Got one right, got one wrong. I still believe I'm 50-50 on the year. Kind of proud of that. I'm pretty sure last year I was like 3 and like 20 probably. So this year 50-50 so far. That's not bad. We'll start with the game I did not get correct. Still don't regret saying it. Number 5 Georgia played Kentucky.
Yes.
The ending score was 14-3. That's a very close game for the number 5 team versus freaking Kentucky.
Yeah. And granted, Georgia was, I felt like they were pretty firmly in control.
And they were, and they probably weren't going to lose. But man, I like Kentucky's defense. They did that. The only reason they beat Tennessee last week is because of that defense.
Yeah. Obviously, their offense just did not have what it took to play against Georgia's defense. So
for sure. So good win for Georgia. I think that was definitely an upset alert game for them. LSU at Auburn. I said that Auburn was going to beat LSU, who was 3-point favorites at the time.
And they barely did.
And they beat LSU 48-11. Man, was I right about that game. Honestly thought it was going to be close when I initially had called the upset. Clearly I was wrong about it being close, but I was right about Auburn winning. Bo Nix did phenomenal. LSU's
Brandon
trash.
was not in for LSU, and
no, honestly LSU's just such a mess in general.
I don't know if that would have helped or not. Yeah,
the difference between LSU and good teams is good teams know how to reload.
This is true, and we were asking Ed Orgeron just the other day about it, and we couldn't understand his answer, so we can't really give you any insight on that. So other upsets that occurred during the week. One was Texas, Oklahoma State. This one really surprised me.
Oklahoma State should have won this game. Yeah. They kind of let themselves just blow it. I really liked Oklahoma State doing well. I thought it was hilarious that they were winning the Big 12.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
It's a big win for Texas. They definitely needed this to stay relevant this year.
It's a big loss for the Big 12.
Huge loss for the Big 12. Pretty much knocking themselves out of the playoff race.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Yep. Yeah, and that one did go to overtime, and so kudos to Texas for pulling out an overtime win there against a good team.
Yep.
And then Michigan State, Michigan. Okay, I didn't see this one in a million years.
I think this just comes down to rivalry and the fact that Harbaugh just cannot win games that he's supposed to win. They showed a statistic. I believe he is 1-6 at home, or when he's at home at either Michigan State or Ohio State. So the only team he's beaten at home between those is Michigan State a while back. That's tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
Yeah,
especially
you don't like
especially when you know Michigan State coming into this. I mean, they've been struggling the whole year. And wow, they come in and win against Michigan. Wow. Huge.
I mean, Michigan State's 1-1 now. I don't know how Rutgers did last week, but I mean, you have to think maybe that was just first week stumble for them, and maybe they're not as bad as we initially thought. So.
Maybe not. We'll see. Then we had West Virginia and Kansas State. Kansas State was doing really well. Coming into this game, and
more Big 12 woes.
West
Virginia 37, Kansas State 10. It's just interesting to see with rankings right now how oftentimes the rankings just kind of seem to be just. Usually they're always just numbers.
Yeah.
Until the playoff polls come out.
That's true.
But right now it just really seems like they just can't nail things down, with some teams just being really high. Like Indiana right now this week is now ranked like I think 13th in the country.
Yeah.
Just because they beat Penn State and somebody else.
And it's just screeching in at the end of this week.
And it's just kind of like, okay, how does that, like Indiana, they haven't done anything besides beat Penn State, who also already lost 2 games. So it's just nothing impressive to me. So anyways, moving on.
True. Okay, so some games that we deem interesting in how they came about. North Carolina ranked number 15 going to Virginia. Lost this game.
I guess we should have put this in the upset things, because it's definitely an upset.
True.
Another team who I'm just slightly confused how they were ranked, North Carolina. Don't know really what they've done so far to deserve that.
They just had high expectations.
I guess so. Definitely haven't
in
lived
this game.
up to
it was Virginia won 44-41, and really, I mean, it wasn't like this last second thing that they wanted. North Carolina was trying to scramble to catch up with
They
Virginia
were the whole time, and they weren't able to. They got close, but they just weren't able to keep it up. Yeah.
Then I just wanted to, as far as an update, as far as interesting, we talk about Coastal Carolina every week now.
We love them.
Coastal Carolina, they won against Georgia Southern, I think.
Yeah, it was Georgia State, I believe.
51-0.
51-0.
So
this is my new favorite team. They're going to the playoffs. I'm a Boise fan, but that's okay. We'll sacrifice 1 year of not making New Year's Six Bowl for the Chanticleers.
Do it.
Come on, Coastal Carolina.
Keep on going, Coastal Carolina. It's very entertaining at the very least. Then you had Minnesota at Maryland. And so I think, Minnesota was definitely expected to win this one. But, they've also started off a bit disappointing. And so as they went into this, hey, this was Talia's second game.
Yeah. Tagovailoa or something?
Yes. Yeah. Tagovailoa.
Another Tua.
Yes. Tua's younger brother. And so, he had struggled the previous game, had a really hard time.
Yeah, multiple picks.
And so this one actually came down to overtime.
It did.
And and so
he pretty much single-handedly kept Maryland in the game.
He did.
Did very well offensively.
Ran almost 400 yards.
400 yards throwing. Ran some decent
touchdowns.
Yards too.
Yeah,
just a good performance for him. And he should definitely be happy with that after his previous
week. Yeah. Oh, I know Maryland's happy with it.
Yeah,
but Maryland's just their problem is overall they're not a strong team.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, definitely not a good team. And so that's a tough one for Talia to be on when
I agree.
you don't have the defense to back you up. Then some games that went about as we expected them to. There was a big hiccup in this first one, Boise State versus Air Force, because Bachmeier was not starting. We still don't know why. We don't even know if he's going to start in this next game, but Bachmeier didn't start, and so instead they stuck Sears in there.
Yeah, South California transfer from that university. He transferred this year. He's already a junior with 2 years of eligibility left, but he did so well.
Yeah.
He was composed, seemed like he really knew what he was doing, and he scrambled a fairly good amount. As far as the 49-30 score, Air Force in the triple option, I'm going to say this.
Hard to defend.
All teams who have a triple option team on their schedule at some point in the year, the thing is you're not going to plan your entire year and entire defensive performance around one type of offense, right? Every other offense, you can kind of do the same thing, same exercises, except triple option.
Yeah.
To me, whenever Boise State plays Air Force, it's a survive type thing.
Yeah.
Just go in, beat them. Don't care if it's not pretty. Don't care if it's close. Just beat the team and move forward.
That's true.
Yeah, and they did. 49-30, good performance.
Kudos. Big game coming up. We'll talk about that later. But then we had Mississippi State. We're only going to mention this. Mississippi State versus Alabama. Alabama looked like a complete team in this game.
Finally, yes. Defensively, 0
honestly,
points.
You
love it.
It's a bit boring. And it lacked a lot of energy and excitement and
honestly,
stuff like that.
Even Mac Jones, as far as this game goes, it wasn't really one of his greatest performances so far. But it didn't need to be. It kind of seemed like
didn't need to be.
Alabama knew what they needed to do to just kind of go out and win the game, and that's what they did.
41-0. So that was a good one.
Yeah.
Then you had number 3 Ohio State in there as they came out playing number 18 Penn State, and I think
this one is expected. It was actually closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be 21 plus points. It was only a 13-point game.
Yeah.
Ohio State seemed like they had it in control the entire time, though. All the way to the very end. So
I never felt like Penn State really had a chance.
Yeah.
And that's how it played out, 38-25. Then you had Memphis going against Cincinnati.
Now, I think Cincinnati might be the real deal this year. I really do.
Okay, yeah. Talk about groups of 5. I know Boise's in that conversation. Yeah. Cincinnati. The Chanticleers really aren't.
I mean, technically,
they're fun. It's entertaining
there's
and all
6 teams, I think, in the top 25 that are group of 5.
Yeah.
But you got Cincinnati and BYU as the top 10 teams for group of 5. BYU is technically considered group of 5, even though they're not in a conference.
Yeah.
Don't know why they're considered group of 5 and Notre Dame's considered Power 5. Maybe it's just consistency of Notre Dame. But that's just kind of how it's viewed. Yeah. So Cincinnati, man, 49-10 against a pretty decent Memphis team.
Yeah.
This is twice in a row that they've just blown out teams. I think at SMU they dominated them too. Just really impressive looking, both defensively and offensively. I think this is their season to win.
Yeah,
their chance to get that New Year's Six bowl. Unless they lose, no other team stands a chance to get in there. So. Yeah.
And then the final game it was as expected was Boston College at Clemson. And yeah, very much as expected, except Boston College gave them a little bit more of a fight than probably a lot of people expected.
So Boston College was 4-2 going into this. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is out because of COVID.
Lawrence is out. He's out this past week and this coming week.
We'll talk about that, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you just have to think Clemson in this game, especially with the game coming up, was also in just kind of a win the game type, right?
Survive.
Just get into this game and win it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be pretty. Doesn't have to be close. You're going to have a quarterback in here who's a freshman from Hawaii whose last name no one can pronounce.
Lulale, something.
And he did well. And he did what he needed to do. And they won the game. Defensively, I think Clemson's probably a little disappointed allowing 28 points and allowing it to be that close. Yeah. And I think defensively, that's who needed to step up in this game.
True. So I would say their defense is a bit suspect, which is sort of unusual for Clemson. Yeah, without a doubt,
for sure. So,
all right, so that was week 9. Join us when we talk about the week 10 preview.